Hey guys, I want to talk about something today, the ego. And I think a lot of people get that word confused with arrogance. Everyone has an ego, and without it, you wouldn't have an identity. You wouldn't have like the confidence to go and apply for a job that you really want. I keep hearing Natalie Reynolds say that Harper Zilmer has an ego, and it's like, honey, yours is bigger than hers. Okay, so we're going to go over what an ego is and how everyone has one. The ego is the part of your mind that creates the sense of I or me. It's not a bad thing. When people hear ego, though, they correlate it to arrogance. Someone who's self centered and only thinks of themselves, who's full of themselves, think they're better than everybody else. But in psychology, everyone has an ego, and without it, you wouldn't have a personal identity. Your ego is what helps you answer questions like, who am I? What do I believe in? What do I want? And where do I fit in this world? How do I fit into this world? It's essentially the part of your mind that manages your self image and interacts with reality. That's your ego. Freud's theory, though, the ID, ego, and superego, according to Sigmund Freud, the personality has three parts. The ID, the primitive part of us, wants immediate pleasure and gratification, thinks, I want it now. And the superego, your inner moral compass, thinks about right and wrong, says you shouldn't do that. And the ego, the mediator between the two, tries to balance what you want, what's right, and what's realistic. Says, let's figure out a way to handle this. An example would be seeing a sweatshirt you really want, but knowing you don't need it. ID, I have to have it right now. Uh, your super ego, no, you don't. And then the ego, maybe we can wait on it to go on sale. Maybe we can look for a coupon. Maybe we save up for it. How the ego shows up in everyday life. Everyone has an ego because everyone wants to protect their sense of self. That's why people get defensive when criticized, want to feel respected, feel hurt when rejected, compare themselves to others, want recognition for their accomplishments, and the ego's job is to often protect us from the emotional pain. When the ego gets too big, a healthy ego helps you function. An unhealthy ego can make someone need constant validation, refuse to admit they're wrong, take everything personally, feel superior to others, and struggle with criticism. When someone's ego is fragile, they may actually appear more arrogant because they're constantly trying to protect themselves. They're trying to balance that ID and superego out. A healthy ego allows you to accept feedback, admit mistakes, have confidence without feeling superior, respect yourself and others, and learn and grow. A healthy ego says, I know my worth, but I don't need to prove it to anyone. Everyone has an ego. It's not just the loud, arrogant person in the room. The ego is your sense of self, your identity, your beliefs, and how you see yourself in the world. The goal is not to get rid of your ego. The goal is to have an ego that's healthy enough to protect your self worth without controlling your life. So, that is your ego, all the other different kinds of egos, and how it works in your life, and how everyone has one. Natalie Reynolds. Um, I don't know how old you are, honey, but if I was Harper's mom, you would be in jail. If all that is real, you really would. And that's not any of my egos talking. That's the mama in me talking. Anyway, I hope y'all learned something today. Everyone has an ego. It's just, what part of your ego do you feed? Do you feed the part of your ego that wants to be good and has a good moral compass, or are you feeding the ego that is self-centered and entitled? Make sure you're feeding the better one. Have a good day.